Hi. So I wanted to pop on real quick and describe to you nighttime rituals and also talk about this concept called psychic inversion. So this is really important, especially if you have trouble sleeping, trouble staying asleep, if you have really bad nightmares. I developed these strategies over time because I had horrific nightmares. And it got to the point where now I rarely feel afraid at night, like almost never. And I did this, without dulling my psychic senses, because those are important to me. They're important to you. So it's like, yeah. So first and foremost, before going to bed, it's like visualization. So a lot of times I like to visualize white light filling the whole space of my room, just while I'm laying in bed. White light, blue light. Blue light is super cleansing, purifying, and protective. It's like a bright blue light. So I bring that in. I'll either imagine like blue flames, like surrounding everywhere, or just blue light everywhere. And I'll also imagine the floor as being gold light. And so this is just an energy clearing technique. You can do this all the time, actually. Before going into work, I used to do this when I was a waitress. Before going into work, I would, on the drive there, imagine what I just described throughout the whole building and just would, clean up the energy a bit for my own sake. I would do this before going to certain people's houses. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. At this point, I don't even, really realize I'm doing it. But it's just, a very powerful visualization technique. Blue light, violet light, those are very cleansing, purifying, and protective lights. And you can imagine yourself, surrounded by an aura of that color. So that's the first thing. And you might have a routine with this stuff. Take it or leave it. Some of these things might really connect with you, maybe not, but it's definitely good to do this. And with practice, it just you just clean up the energy around your sleep space so much that it just becomes effortless. And that's how it is with pretty much all of these kind of daily intentional ritual type things. They become effortless with time. So visualization of energy. I also, for a long time, and I still sometimes do this, I will command the energy. And this is really powerful. So I'll be like, I command that only energy of the highest light intent be permitted in my space while I sleep. It is done, and so it is. Or I'll say something like, that's basically it. Only energy of the highest light intent is permitted in my space while I sleep. It is done, and so it is. And I say it out loud. Sometimes I say it, in my head, but it's best if you say it out loud. When I would wake up from a scary dream or a sleep disturbance, sometimes if I was feeling afraid, I would make myself say this out loud, and it would clean the space, and I'd be able to go back to bed. One time I even had such a bad nightmare, in the dream, I command, get the fuck out of my space, and yeah, that was a big moment for me. So, this is really powerful to do, and this is powerful to do not just before you sleep, but all the time. Just I command only energy of the highest light intent, only beings, consciousness, entities, whatever. Just use energy because it's the highest light intent is permitted in my space while I sleep, is permitted in my space today, for the whole day. It is done, and so it is. And you just really say it with feeling, with power, maybe a little anger. I definitely command that shit. I say it loud, and I say it intense with my full chest. And it makes a huge difference. So that helps just clear the space, right? It's visualization, making that command, commanding the energy. We're not asking, we're commanding. What next? Oh, and then I'll do things like different, it kind of like, I'll mix these up, but a good one is to just imagine a white light filling your whole body. This is like super relaxing, and it's kind of like a white light cleanse you can think of, and you just imagine like from the crown down, white light just coming through, and just take your time, just like letting it move through you. This is really nice. So you're just cleaning the space, you're letting the day go. That's really important, especially if you're someone that's just like, which is me. I am that kind of person. But these techniques are really great. I remember working with a student in the past who I was talking her through this stuff, and she was like, you know, she had put it in practice, and she was like, it clicked for her, and she was like, no, like, this is my time to rest. Like, fuck all that. She is super psychic, and she would hear voices would start talking to her while she was like trying to fall asleep. Just like all sorts of stuff would come in, and she finally was just like, no, this is my rest time. No, thank you. And that just was like a game changer. So, you know, having that kind of attitude, like, no, this is my time. This is my time to rest. This isn't for, you know, my worries of the day. Those can go. Those can leave. This isn't for, you know, whatever spirits are trying to get your attention. You know, no, we don't need that. So this is your rest time, and it's like really claiming that for yourself. It's really important. This is decaf coffee. So, all right, so that's one piece. Let's see, what's next? Those visualization techniques. What else did I want to teach you about sleep? Oh, okay, so I'll kind of talk about the psychic inversion, and then at the end of this, I'll do some tapping techniques, which also help kind of switch you into sleeping or rest mode. So there's this thing called psychic inversion, and this is where you are hyper vigilant on a psychic level, which means that you are constantly using your psychic senses, your subtle senses, to tune into danger. But it's like you're tuning into your surroundings on like the nth degree. You know, it's like it's getting you way too enmeshed in your surroundings. So what can happen is you might be like super sensitive to the feelings of your partner. You might be super aware of them all the time. Your family, you know, you're just kind of like in everyone's energy and in everyone's business all the time. And you're doing it probably unconsciously, but you're doing it to keep yourself safe. A lot of people do this. I did this for a long time. And eventually I was like, I don't need that. I don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. And it really gunks up your psychic senses because you're tuning into, like, you could be tuning into someone's bad mood and think it's about you, and it's not. So it can cause so many more problems, you know, and it's like, that's someone else's feelings and emotions that they can deal with, you know, and just because someone is feeling something doesn't mean they're a danger to you. You know, I'm assuming that now at this point in your life, you're in a safer situation or a safe situation, so you don't need to do that anymore, you know? And this doesn't mean that your senses won't attune you to danger. In fact, when you kind of heal this and shut this off and switch it around a little bit, it actually makes you more able to sense real danger. Because right now it's like every little thing is dangerous, right? Like when you're in that psychic inversion, every little tiny thing, every little change in the environment, every little flow of emotion, feeling, whatever, that can trigger that fight or flight response. Or it can just gunk up your senses because you're feeling into other people's stuff when you don't need to. So you could be feeling into someone else's danger, you know, and that's not necessarily yours to do. If you think about it, it's honestly very invasive. It's very invasive. And, you know, I learned that it's like, I don't want people looking into my energy without my permission. I don't want people looking in and trying to, you know, so I had to learn not to do that. It's like, if someone wants to ask me for a reading, you know, on their energy, or they want to ask me for advice, or like, what do you think about this? Then I can look at the energy. But otherwise, I'm not looking at your energy. I'm not looking at your shit. No. I'm seeing, you know, that's just no. You know, I'm feeling if like, oh, should I connect with this person or not? Is this aligned with me or not? But if I'm tuned into a bunch of other, you know, energy fields and not really my own, how am I supposed to make a decision using my intuition? You know, how am I supposed to sense danger that's real and present to me when I'm always feeling like I'm in danger? How do I know if that's what's real danger and what isn't? So, basically what's happening during this is your subconscious is out on the search, scanning constantly, versus connecting up with you and your conscious mind. So just bringing in that awareness of this, like, feels, you know, like something that you vibe with, or like, oh shit, yeah, this resonates for sure. Keep that in mind, and, you know, doing these energy cleansing exercises, these boundary exercises, really help with that. Really help shift that. Setting that intention, like, my subconscious communicates with my conscious mind. My subconscious communicates with my conscious mind. My subconscious and my conscious minds are connected. And you just, you know, that's like an affirmation, a mantra, an intention. And another thing to do is just, I send back all energy that is not my own to source, to be transmuted and recycled, renewed, whatever. And I call back all my energy to me. You know, you're commanding that. I command all energy that is not mine to return to source, and all energy that is mine to return back to me, being cleansed and purified and reintegrated into my field. All of this done in the best and highest way. It is done, and so it is. You know, just like, so you're, again, commanding energy. It's like, that's not mine, you know, and whatever, you know, tentacles I have out there doing who knows what, bring that shit back. Doing that technique has helped me when I felt really ill, like randomly, or tired or whatever, and it's like an instant shift. So that's something else to consider. Another thing, a strategy. So let's say you're laying in bed and you're like obsessing over, you know, whatever. You can imagine like a sphere of light. Sphere of light. It can be any color, whatever. It can move any different way. Just let it show up however it shows up. And you can just imagine all the tension in your body, whatever it is that you're focused on and worrying about, just send it. Just absolutely surrender it to this sphere. Now, the sphere is divine consciousness. It's cosmic consciousness. It is just pure fucking wisdom. And this is like an aspect of self that can look at this, do things about it. You know, it takes it out of your body. Because sometimes we try to process so much stuff in our bodies, and we can't do that. We don't have the, like, you know, it's just like an overload. We don't have to carry all that. You know, we have helpers, we have tools, we have energetic tools we can use. So when you just feel super overwhelmed, or you just feel like you have a lot of tension, give it to that sphere of light. Just feel it, surrender it to that sphere, and know that this is like a guardian angel type energy. You know, this energy, this angelic energy is going to take whatever that is, and it's going to look at it, and it's going to organize it and like transmute it, you know, take care of it for you. Either you'll come back with some new insight on how to solve your problem, or you'll, something miraculous will happen. You're just kind of like, you can't solve the problem at the space that you're in. You need to get into the space of solutions. And the best way to kind of initiate that process is to surrender that shit to a higher consciousness, to an outside source of wisdom. Just be like, hey, please take this. Just take it. Take it off my hands. However you need to kind of like visualize this and build this relationship. Maybe it's like a wise elder. It's like, what would you do? Can you take this on? And then just know that you can give this. You don't have to hold on to this stuff. You don't have to carry it. There you have helpers. You have energetic helpers, energetic tools that can work on these things for you in the background, give you a break so you can rest, and new insight, new information will come in. Yeah. So that's another thing to do if you're laying in bed and you're just like buzzing. Give that shit up. You can call it your guardian angel, whatever makes sense to you. I like thinking of it as a guardian angel. Just my personal angel takes on my shit, does whatever with it in the background, angelic stuff, and supports me and helps me out, and gives me answers. So the next thing I'm going to teach is a couple of tapping exercises. And these are really great I do these all the time too, like all day long. So one is called switching. This is switching technique. And so this is when your nervous system is like, normally during the day we go up and down and up and down. We're meant to take breaks. We're meant to rest. We have peaks of energy, and then we have times where we need to like close our eyes. That's normal. But a lot of times we just kind of like go past that, and then we get stuck. So ever feel like you're like buzzing and you like can't, and you're like your head hurts and your brain's just moving so fast and you can't calm down. You feel ungrounded, a little manic maybe. Or maybe you feel so lethargic and so dead and you like just can't move. Either way, that's a switch. That's switched stress response, switched nervous system. You're blown out on one end or the other. So, and if you're like too like, you can't relax. And if you're just too like, you can't get back into daily motion. So how you do this technique is you take your fingers and you press gently over your eyelids. And you press down, like right now I have makeup on, so I'm not gonna really do this, but you press down, and you press down until you can see like kind of the stars behind your eyes. Don't go too crazy, if it fucking hurts, don't stop. But you're just pressing gently enough that your eyes, you're seeing those like stars behind your eyes. Taking some deep breaths, and you just kind of hold that for a second. And then you'll kind of know when to lift off. Keep your eyes closed. And then you're going to take your hand and you're going to, there's kind of these points here around your clavicle. Right here. They might be sore. Mine are sore. These are your kidney meridian points. And so you just kind of hold on to those. I'm just going to kind of, and you keeping your eyes closed, holding on to those. You can tap them, whatever feels good. Just hold on to them. And you're tapping over head brain, heart brain, and gut brain, just like in the cortices technique. This is the switching technique from Body Talk System. Oh, that feels nice. So that really helps if you maybe you just woke up from a nap in the middle of the day and you're like, I can't wake up. Or you got like the afternoon, sleepies, or, right before bed. Another technique, and this uses more eye pressing, it's called Bebo's technique. And if you feel on the back of your neck, right under your skull, there's kind of an indent, and then there will be a little protruding vertebrae, and that's C2. It's the first little vertebrae up at the top of your neck that you can feel. So with one hand, you just gently hold over it. You may notice that you'll want to like press pretty hard. Just be aware of that and try to like let off. But usually I'll be like, and then I'm like, okay, just chill. Again, you're pressing over one of your eyes. You can get both of them closed. Just pressing down gently. Just holding the back of your neck, holding that C2 vertebrae. Releasing if you're getting really intense with the pressure. Alright, and then I'm just going to tap over the heart a little bit. I'm going to switch hands. Do it on the other side. Do a little bit of tapping over head, heart, and gut brain. Just telling the body, like, okay, let's relax. So that technique, Bibo's technique, is even more relaxing than switching. That's just a technique for straight up relaxation. While the switching technique might help you if you're feeling tired, Bibo's will just help you just fucking relax. So use those techniques if you're just like struggling to relax. Let yourself close your eyes and just like put your phone down, or if you're like obsessing over something, like get into the habit of just like, oh, I am like on another level. I need to put my shit down for a second. So, yeah. Oh, and another just like tidbit, setting those intentions for your sleep. So you can set intentions for your day, you can set intentions for your sleep. So I did the thing, with like commanding the energy, but you can also be like, I'm going to have a restful, peaceful, rejuvenatory night's sleep. I'm going to wake up feeling so well rested and fresh and ready to start my day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. So you can kind of set that intention, like, this is how I'm going to sleep and this is how I'm going to wake up. And it makes a big, big difference. So keep those things in mind for sleeping, for just kind of psychic, boundaries, cleansing your space. I find these techniques, if you use them regularly, super, super, super awesome. Even if you use them in acute situations, they make a big difference. All right.